Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. What is going on, everybody? Somebody has a case of the Mondays. Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And, well, Bob's your uncle. Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. Boom. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network and Fantasy Alarm. That's at Better Network and at Fantasy Alarm at all your favorite, and I mean all your favorite, social media platforms. Woo! Here we go, baby. Here we go. The Chargers back on Monday Night Football. That is right. Currently, they are dominating, and I mean dominating the Jets 14-0 right now, just the start of the second quarter. But I'm a Chargers fan. Let's not get carried away. We've seen this happen before. Matter of fact, the Chargers are in the top 4 in the NFL of first half scoring this year. However, in the second half, they're one of the worst. So let's not all get crazy and say the Chargers are back, because anything can happen. I do want to give shout out to the Bettercast, the Better Network Bettercast. I was on it earlier. Oh, good evening. Hello, Mile. Hi, Luke. Give him some love over here. Welcome to Monday Night Rants. Botanical Extraction. I'm not sure what that is. Let me know in the chat. I'm interested. But Howard Bender had me on his tailgate party for the Bendercast tonight on the Bettercast. That's also following the game right now. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot of fun in there. You can see the Bettercast going live. You can see Howard right now. Look at him. Look at Howard's face. Talking about the game. He's a New York Jets fan. We had a little friendly bet on the tailgate party there. So I'm sure he's talking about that, rocking his New York Jets jersey. I was there rocking my Herbert jersey. Lost the trivia contest to Adam Bernard at Pucking Thoughts. That guy is just full of knowledge. It is insane. But that was a lot of fun doing that. I'm sure there'll be more of those to come. Make sure you get the app. He's not in a good mood. No, he's not. Make sure you get the Bettercast app. It's bettercast.app, and you can play along, win tickets to get gear at FanAddicts for free. You just got to get enough tickets from winning the Bettercast. You can trade in for jerseys like this or your own favorite team as well. So you can actually play that while you're watching me and the game tonight. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight, as we always do on Monday Night Rants. I'm not dressed up like a Ninja Turtle this week, obviously, because Halloween is over. But that was a lot of fun last week as well. But we do have good news tonight. Really, really good news. Everyone, welcome back. My producer, Tyler Heavy T. Soto. That's right. He is back tonight. We're going to have a lot to talk about being a Falcons fan. I want to talk to him at What Say Ye Heavy T, which we'll do later. Also, he did lose in the Guillotine League while he was on vacation last week. Just like Garrett did when he was on vacation. I see a trend going, and what sucks is this weekend, I'm on vacation. I'm in trouble. I see a trend. But it's going to be a lot of fun because I get to give his eulogy tonight. I've been working on it. I don't think it's going to be as good as his, but there's a little funny nitpicks in there, if you will, that you may find enjoyable. So, and as always, Thomas Stevens will be joining us as well for Rants on the Street. A lot of NBA questions tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. NBA's in full gear. And I'm excited. We had the equinox last week, right? We had every sport at the same time. It was beautiful. The Jets plus 650 money line right now. I would take that. The Chargers are terrible in the second half. I hope they pull it together, but they are the worst second half team in the NFL. It's since last year, before the offensive coordinator change. Like it's insane how bad they are in the second half. It drives me crazy how bad they are. It's like they just go, all right, Madden, HP dive. Like it's absolutely garbage. So we'll work on that. Mile High Luke saying, from a Chiefs fan, the Chargers will Charger. That is right, buddy. That is so true. I've been saying that for years. The Chargers will always, and I mean always, Charger. But I'm still here to give them love and respect as my team. So there you go. We did have some NBA matchups tonight. No bets tonight because there's no late games. But one game I was really interested in is the debut tonight of, yes, one, and I mean one, James Harden debuted for the Clippers tonight after the big trade. That game is currently 62-61 at Madison Square Garden. The Knicks on top of the Clippers. James Harden, in case you're wondering, he has 9 points. He's 4 for 6 from the field, 1 for 2, 3, and he's played 22 minutes, just about as much as Kawhi and Paul George. So he's playing, and they started this lineup with Harden, Westbrook, Leonard, George, and Zubac. That is insane. If that's the lineup the Clippers are going to put out there every day, that's a really small ball type of lineup. So, like I said, I don't like the trade. I don't like James Harden going to the Clippers. I think he's a me first type of guy. I don't like it. You also have Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and it's just and Westbrook. Like, I don't like this, and I'm a Clippers fan, and I don't like this. We'll see how it plays out, but for the most part, I don't like it. But we're gonna see. I'll have to ask Thomas Stevens later when he's on because he's the NBA guy here. But I just don't like it. What I've watched earlier when I was trying to watch the Charger game and everything, it's going to be a really interesting play for Lou there for the Clippers to figure out what he's going to do with these players, because you still have Powell on the bench. You still have Bones Highland's been playing incredible basketball off the bench. He's probably up there now, has odds for being sixth man of the year. Now you are going to have Terrence Mann coming back for the Clippers as well, but for the most part, this is a very interesting rotation here for the Clippers. So it's all or nothing, though. Like I said earlier this year, it's all or nothing for the Clippers. Their window is closing. It's going to shut. I mean, shut straight down at the end of this year. So still 62-61. We're going to time out there. So we'll check out how that goes later on and see how Harden's debut for the Clippers pans out. One thing is great about today. We had the Equinox last week, right? We had NHL World Series. Shout out, by the way, to the Texas Rangers on winning the World Series. First ever World Series. So there's hope there for my San Diego teams. But I love to see it. I love to see a team win for the first time. It's fun to watch. I know Arizona, the first couple of games were closer, but Arizona was outclassed. That was Bruce Bochy at his best. And Texas, I hate to say it, but a deserving World Series champion. So shout out to Texas. Shout out to the Rangers, World Series. But the Equinox closes with the MLB going away to guess what? And I mean, guess what? My favorite, where I always win my money betting every year, which I'm going to help you win, my fellow ranchers, this year. College basketball is back, baby. That's right. College basketball, a huge slate started today. Shout out to Oregon for winning against Georgia in Las Vegas, where I will be on Thursday. By the way, I'm going to Vegas this weekend for my birthday. Shout out to that. Be a lot of fun. But college basketball is back, and there's actually a big game tonight. You got Kansas State playing USC in Vegas as well at the T-Mobile Arena. So I'm going to give you a few of my thoughts on this game so you can get some bets in if you're in a state that allows it before the game starts and have a lot of fun here, because I'm excited. I am excited that college basketball is back. College football, me and Heavy T have been dominating our picks all year. We're just under 70%. In college basketball, I have a history of winning. It's going to be a lot of fun this year. I'm really excited, actually, for this season. So USC, Kansas State. I don't think Bronny James is going to play tonight after he had his health scare. He's not going to play. It is currently the spread. Because of that, a ranked USC team is only -3.5 in Vegas against Kansas State. Now, I'm looking at the public. I'm looking at what they're saying. It's a little split even here, but a lot of people are taking Kansas State on this one as the underdog. Because of the Bronny James situation, USC did lose some players to the draft. They're still a good coach team, and they have a lot of young, besides Bronny, remember, they have another 5-star coming in too. So they're young. We don't know how the rotation is going to work for USC, but they should have a good basketball, this team that should contend for the Pac-12. That's why they're ranked preseason. However, I'm a little on the public here with Kansas State because, again, we know what Kansas State has, because last year they made a deep run into the tournament. So I kind of like Kansas State tonight to cover the spread. I think this will be the best game of the day. I thought Georgia-Oregon was going to be the best game of the day, but Oregon absolutely blew Georgia out of the water, which was very surprising for an unranked team. By the way, Oregon will be ranked now after that win. Mile High Luke, my man. He's already on it. Let's go, baby. I'm taking Kansas State in the points tonight. No Bronny, 5-star freshman playing his first game for USC. A lot of rotation problems there. I think Kansas State, a more experienced team, goes tonight and at least covers this game. I'm taking Kansas State tonight to cover. So there you go. College basketball is back, baby. Give me a cheer. Give me a cheer. Give me some DMX grunts, too. Let's go. Love it. Love it. Equinox never stops, baby. Never, ever stops. All right, let's jump into the red lines, Heavy T. Some things that happened over the weekend, some news and notes. We're going to talk about some NFL injuries. We're going to talk about the legend of a rookie quarterback. But we got to start with one thing and one thing only, because we talked about the Equinox, which is every sport going on at one time. We cannot go without giving a shout out to NASCAR and the new NASCAR champion. First time champion, first time in the Final Four. This happens to be my favorite NASCAR driver as well. Let's give a shout out to where it was due in Ryan Blaney. That's right. Ryan Blaney is your 2023 NASCAR champion. Look at that. It's crazy, right? By the way, avid Star Wars fan. Love it. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was never really into NASCAR. Like I was the type of guy who was like, go left once in a while, maybe. But during the pandemic, where things were going bad for everyone and we're stuck at home and there's no sports, and that's my life. Matt Sells and Dan Malin from Fantasy Alarm and doing DFS and betting on NASCAR actually got me into it. And I started winning with them, helping me win on fantasyalarm.com. And because of that, I fell in love with the sport. And my driver just happened to be Ryan Blaney. So like when I first became a Chargers fan in 1992 and they made the Super Bowl in 1994, I'm rejuvenated thinking this is how it should be every year, right? No. But shout out to Ryan Blaney, your NASCAR champion, and back-to-back for the captain, Roger Penske. Love to see it. But my fellow ranters, let's get into the NFL. The legend of CJ Stroud. Wow. I've been saying this on the show for months. He is the best rookie quarterback in this draft, and it's not even close. Bryce Young is undersized. He's underweight and just not an NFL caliber quarterback. I do like Will Levis. I do. I really do. But CJ Stroud is Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. His accuracy is off the charts. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football history. Yes, he had a good receiving core at Ohio State, one of the best there ever been, but Alabama had one too, and Bryce Young wasn't as accurate there too, right? The dude put on a show, and I mean an absolute show yesterday. 470 passing yards, a rookie record, 5 touchdowns, and leading the Texans to that comeback win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. CJ Stroud is him, man. CJ Stroud is him. I picked him up in a few leagues. I've been playing him as my starting quarterback confidently. I know he struggled the last 2 weeks, but this is him. He doesn't turn the ball over. He has a good young receiving core. The running back situation is a little rough. Damian Pierce was out this last week. But for the most part, the dude balls. And he's accurate. Justin Herbert was very accurate in college. He just didn't have a receiving core at Oregon. Joe Burrow was really accurate in college. He had a pretty good receiving core. Accuracy matters. And that's why I said CJ Stroud will be a good NFL quarterback. I think Will Levis will be a good NFL quarterback. Not as good as CJ Stroud. Will Levis is going to be Josh Allen light. His deep ball is tremendous. That's all Josh Allen does now is throw a deep ball. Can't do anything else. But CJ Stroud, I'm telling you, dynasty leagues, whatever, it's too late now. He's going to be an NFL superstar. Mark my words. Speaking of NFL superstars, welcome back, Kyler. That's right. After we got to witness the Cardinals do the weirdest thing I've ever seen is trade for Joshua Dobbs a week before the NFL season, play him, and he's been serviceable. I'm not going to lie. Arizona Cardinals have been in the games. They trade him, start Clayton Tune, who had one of the worst games of the season for a quarterback, not named Daniel Jones. But still, welcome back, Kyler. Because I think this Cardinals team, has some stuff to actually grow around. Michael Wilson looks like a really good receiver. You lose Connor, and here you are with Damari or Amari, who he was hurt though. And then you got Keontae Ingram, and you got, I don't know. They trade a lot of their pieces. Trey McBride looks fantastic. There's a lot to grow around. I don't think they should be looking for a quarterback in the draft. They're going to be up there. I think if I were them, what I would do is find a receiver or a running back to help this team out. I think Michael Wilson's going to be fine. Rondale Moore is a little undersized. I'm a little worried about him. But for the most part, if you get another big body receiver or just a running back on this team, they could play football next year, especially in a weak NFC. So I don't think Kyler Murray, this is it. His year is over. He'll never be a Cardinal again. I think he's going to come back, and I've been really stashing him on my benches in fantasy football, and I'm hoping it pays off, and I think it will. Because it shows that when he's on the field, when Kyler Murray is on the field, he produces points. He always has his entire career, no matter what's around him. Now we'll see, because of the injury, if he could actually run the ball as productive as he has in the past. That's going to be the biggest problem for Kyler Murray. And it's the same thing that happened with Dak. Now, Dak's injury wasn't an ACL injury, but it was a leg injury, and he hasn't run the ball since. And that's kind of what we want out of Kyler, is that extra 40 to 50 to 60 yards rushing a game, kind of like the Lamar Jackson effect. However, Kyler Murray is a more accurate passer than Lamar Jackson. So his fantasy value could be up the roof if he is back like they say he is. So welcome back, Kyler. We love to see it. I know people have different opinions on him personally, whatever that, but the dude's a baller when it comes to fantasy football. So if you held on to him, congratulations. I've had to start Sam Howell for like 5 weeks now, waiting for Kyler to come back, which hasn't been a bad thing, actually. That's why you don't waste your money or waste your fab or waste your top 5 draft picks on a quarterback. This is exactly the reason. I'm in first place in that league, and I have Sam Howell with Kyler Murray coming back. How's it working out for you, Josh Allen owners? Patrick Mahomes, who hasn't been nearly worth his value this year. There you go. Something to be said there. Speaking of quarterbacks and quarterback injuries, we got to talk about this. I don't know why. Daniel Jones it's hard, man, right? Last year, the New York Giants were on top of the world. Daniel Jones was on top of the world. This team was absolutely, and I mean absolutely, winning games that they shouldn't have, and making the playoffs and beating the Minnesota Vikings in the first round of the playoffs. And everyone's like, this is it. Daniel Jones is him. Here we go. He's running the ball with efficiency. He's throwing the ball with efficiency. And then in the offseason, you get Darren Waller, who's also going to be out for a long time now after an injury. And he's been absolutely garbage anyways. Also, that's 2 big injuries 2 years in a row for Darren Waller. Let's not forget his injury with the Raiders. The Giants are done, and they have a lot of money invested into Daniel Jones, and I mean a lot. They're going to have to eat it. They need to eat it because there are 3-4 really good quarterbacks coming out this year in the draft. Really good quarterbacks. I'm not talking about Caleb Williams. More on that later when we talk about college football and his crying episode after he made fun of another quarterback who cried last year. But Daniel Jones ain't him. He really isn't. Now he's injury prone, up the wazoo. The team is in shambles. He may be the highest paid backup in the NFL next year. Drake May. I mean, Bo Nix, why not? Bo Nix will be an excellent Kellen Moore type offensive coordinator in the NFL. Mark my words. But he can play football. And he's smart. He makes smart decisions and doesn't turn the ball over. and he has legs. It's like the anti-Daniel Jones. Bo Nix is the anti-Daniel Jones. I love it. A couple more injuries over the weekend you should probably be worried about. Obviously, the Daniel Jones injury. Matthew Stafford and surprise inactive on Sunday. Ripien. Are we done with Ripien? That was terrible. The Rams were bad. Matthew Stafford makes that team go. And unfortunately, he is low on years left. So I could see a phase here where Stafford and McVay phase themselves out, and the Rams are in full rebuilding mode there, especially how good the 49ers look in that division. Arizona may already be a step up. That's crazy. But yeah, it's a lot of trouble there with Matthew Stafford's thumb. He should be back, though. Justin Fields did practice at the end of last week. He did miss this week again. But, I mean, Tyson Badges not look too bad, to be honest. But Fields, short turnaround this week. They do have the Thursday night game against Carolina. It's against Carolina, so you may want... By the way, that's a fun one because they're both trading draft picks on that one because Carolina has the Bears' first-round draft pick anyways. So that's going to be a fun Thursday night game. Ugh. I'll be in Vegas for that, so I'll probably be doing something else. Enjoy the game. We'll see if Fields comes back for that one. Jared Hall. Oh, my goodness. This was sad to watch. The rookie quarterback out of BYU came in concussion immediately after getting hit on the goal line, and in comes Joshua Dobbs. 1 week after signing, we've heard this story before, and I know Heavy T's not going to like this, but here we go. Minnesota Vikings coming back to beat the Atlanta Falcons with Jared Hall and Joshua Dobbs with no playbook and nothing. And Joshua Dobbs is a baller, man. I'm not going to lie. Two times now this year, within a week, he's gotten a playbook and came in and produced. So remember, he led the Cardinals to beat not just beat, dominate the Cowboys earlier this year as well. So I think the Minnesota Vikings should be okay with Joshua Dobbs for the rest of the year, although they should probably think about tanking a little bit. So I mean, Joshua Dobbs is the answer for the future. A couple other receiver injuries. Josh Downs for the Colts. Knee concerns here. Obviously, you got Michael Pittman. You got Alec Pierce there. Joshua Downs has been really good. A surprise, actually. A really good surprise here in fantasy football. I had him low on my rookie receiver rankings at the beginning of the year. I actually had Jaden Reed over him, which at the beginning of the year looked like one of the most smartest things in the world. But now it does not because Jordan Love can't throw the ball to save his life. But yeah, rough injury there. If you've been holding on to him, it looked like he was coming along. His betting value over the last 4 weeks has been insane. His 4.5 receptions, and he's been dominated by 2 at least on average. It's hopefully that catches up with him, but still, hopefully he's able to return. We'll see. He only had 1 catch for 10 yards before the knee injury. I don't know what it is, but it looks like maybe 1 week. In that case, Alec Pierce will be your automatic pickup and play, but I want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, a 50-foot pole, actually, to be honest. KJ Osborne had a scary injury where he was knocked out with a bad concussion, helmet to helmet. He was able to get up on his own power, get up onto the cart. Looks like he'll be okay. He's going to have to go through the protocol, probably miss 1 week, but it wasn't as bad as it looked, which is good. Brandon Powell, who I've talked about on this show for a couple weeks now, is kind of like the future number 3 there in Minnesota. And I do like Brandon Powell. Maybe as a flyer for DFS this weekend or something like that could be a good. I've been kind of holding on to him in some dynasty leagues as well. And the biggest injury, I think, from the tight end spot, because tight end is so weak this year, has to be Dallas Goedert. Goddard is, it's going to be a month, guys. Maybe an IR stint here. He was off to a great start, 3 passes for 50 yards. It was his arm, his forearm. It's looking like everything I read today that Goddard will be out for a while. Really, there's no with tight end. If you didn't pick up Trey McBride, you're kind of screwed there. Njoku may be available after a big week now that Watson looks semi-healthy again. If someone were to drop him, maybe. But yeah, it's slim pickings there. So that sucks for Goddard owners for sure. All right, before we go to break, go to Rants on the Street with Thomas Stevens. We got to talk about some things that, what I learned this week. One of my favorite segments. I go through some of the games that I liked and talk about what I learned. We'll start with this one right here, Philadelphia, Dallas. What I've learned is the Cowboys are the Cowboys. That's exactly who they are. They did it again. Every time they're in a spot to make a difference, to put everything behind them, all the haters, all the critics, every time they blow it. Oh, maybe the Cowboys are the second best team, or if not the best team in the NFC. People have been talking about over the last week after some big wins. But the Eagles just outclassed them. Remember, they were up at halftime, the Cowboys. They blew it in the second half. In the second half, they were outscored 14-6 with some costly turnovers. And Dak Prescott, 374, 3 touchdowns, and still wasn't enough. The defense for the Eagles stifled in the second half, and it was too much for the Cowboys. And I've learned that the Cowboys aren't as good as I thought they are. So, there you have it. I've also learned that Miami can't beat good teams. The Dolphins. They can't. They need that pivotal win this year. They haven't had it. Got blown out by the Bills. And then losing 21-14 against the Chiefs, who, by the way, the Chiefs were not playing at their best. Far from it. And still couldn't get that offense going. They turned to Mozart in the second half, who got something going. But it wasn't enough. The Dolphins at 6-3 don't have that pivotal win this season. Maybe they're not as good as we thought they were. And the Bills struggled against the Bengals last night. Maybe the whole AFC East isn't as good as we thought they were. Remember, at the beginning of the season, we're talking about that could be the best division in football. Aaron Rodgers runs in with a flag, plays 2 plays, he's out for the year. Well, we think he's out here throwing balls, with no brace on pregame, but we'll see how that plays out. And now the Dolphins can't beat the teams they're supposed or should beat to be that top tier and get to that level. They're just not doing it. And even the Chiefs at 7-2, they're not playing good football. They're winning, but they're not playing good. Who is playing good football? The Ravens? Which last week on the show, I moved the Ravens up to my top 5 power rankings. I'm going to move them up after a great showing against Seattle, who's a really good team, great defense. I think maybe the Ravens could be the favorite in the AFC. All-around play. The defense from Harbaugh. Lamar Jackson played at that MVP type level. And if he doesn't even need to play at that MVP type level, their offense is figuring it out. Their offense is there. Zay Flowers is legit. Odell had a terrible fumble. Mark Andrews is playing top of his game. It's going to come down to the Chiefs and the Ravens, I feel. I think Mile High Luke here in the chat is right. The Chiefs do have a top 5 defense, but the offense is still figuring out. You say the offense is still figuring out. What do they need to figure out? It's literally the same offense from last year who won a Super Bowl. There's something broken there. So we'll see what that is. That's what I learned over the weekend is the AFC maybe isn't as strong, or they're too strong. And they're beating each other up. But it's looking like it's the Eagles to lose in the NFC. Although don't count out Detroit. And I think the Cowboys are just not quite there either. And Jacksonville, the Jaguars, let's not count down them either. They do have the longest winning streak in the NFL. After the break, Thomas Stevens joins me for some Rants on the Street. See what you guys are saying out there on Instagram. We choose our best 5 questions each week. You come here with those questions. I answer them. and Thomas Stevens gives me his analysis. I normally agree with the man. He's pretty smart when it comes to this stuff, especially the NBA. I do have some NBA questions about James Harden to ask him as well. So after the break, Rant on the Street with Thomas Stevens. 14-3 Chargers, baby. Let's go.
From the Hometown Hero series, Zach Parise.
That is a very nice card, and that's one I'm probably have to organize a little trade ski with you, because I would actually like that card.
You got downtown Newark in the background. I mean, Newark has never looked so good.
No, it is not.
We'll put that back up on the screen. I just want to have a penny sleeve ready, and yes, we can absolutely work out a little trade ski for that, because that belongs in a Devil Fans collection right there.
I'll trade you the Braden Schneider rookie card for it.
Done.
There we go. The first card-for-card trade on Rip and Riff history. And it was that easy.
It was that easy. That's because, you know why? Because neither one of us are jerks. And it's the same thing when we try and do fantasy trades. Like, we don't try and screw each other. We have conversations. If there's a fit, there's a fit. If it's not, it's not. We don't try and, like, take the other one over the barrel. So there you go. In a penny sleeve. Hometown hero, Zach Parise. He was among the league's most productive goal scorers in 06-07 and followed up with a terrific regular season with an even more impressive postseason. And then they talk about what he did in the first round series against Tampa Bay that year. So that's off to the side for you.
That's true. And, if this is it for his career, he had a hell of a career.
He did.
Hopefully he comes back one more year with the Islanders, but if he doesn't, hell of a run.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants, as DMX would say.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on. My boy, Thomas Stevens. Welcome back to the show at Better Thomas. Not in your Halloween dress up this week, though.
Not this week. Maybe I should rock it more, though. I thought I looked good.
Dude, I thought that was just like your normal Monday get up.
Only on some Mondays.
You go to some crazy parties, my friend. I will ask you real quick. I did one of my favorite. I don't like betting against the Chargers or on them because I always feel like it goes the other way. But I did the Better cast earlier on with Howard Bender on the Bender cast, the tailgate party. And my favorite bet actually was taking the Chargers in the first half, -2. Looking good right now.
Yeah, sure.
Because the Chargers are one of the best first half teams in the NFL, and they have it for 2 straight years. They were top 3 last year and top 4 this year. However, second half is a whole different story. So I'm liking that bet. The over I took I had it at 40. I think it moved all the way to 41. But I'm liking that still, I guess. But so far, so good for me. But again, it's the first half. You know how the Chargers play in the second half. Hey, Sportsnut Nick is here. The Mets are killing me. The Mets are killing you. It's off season, buddy.
The haunt of the Mets never goes away.
How did that Scherzer and work out for you? Scherzer and DeGrom won a World Series this year. Not on the Mets. That's rough, man. As a Padres fan, my fellow ranter, Sportsnut Nick, I feel your pain, my friend. The Juan Soto will be off in the sunset to a team will probably win the World Series next year as well. There you have it. And Mile High Lou, shout out to him, man. He's been great in the chat too.
I saw him earlier saying some stuff.
Yeah. Before we get into the rants on the street, I talked about it a little bit earlier. I want to get your opinion on what we saw or what we're seeing tonight in the NBA with James Harden official first game here for the Clippers, which is it over yet? No, it's not. Clippers are losing 92-81 in New York against the Knicks. Ouch. 2-4 Knicks. They started this lineup, which I was afraid of. Westbrook, Harden, George, Kawhi, and Zubac.
It's positionless except for the center.
That is a small lineup. And rough sauce to say the least. Now there still is the full fourth quarter to go, and they are down 11. But I don't like this. I think this is a bad mood for the Clippers, and I think it's going to cost them down the stretch. And I'm not as high on them as I were at the beginning of the season.
I mean, I agree with you. I think that James Harden is a great player. He's always been a great player. But there's something about James Harden that doesn't work in the playoffs, and it never has. There was one year, I'll say, I forget the year, but they played Golden State, and they really challenged him, and Chris Paul got hurt. And I think that's the only playoff run for Harden that I've seen where I'm like, maybe he could have done something. So the move, the Knicks make me ashamed to be in. That's funny. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of the move. I'm looking at the stats right now. I really wasn't really looking at the game too much, but I think my biggest issue with the stat line right now is obviously, Harden, he only has 9 points. Fine, who cares? Kawhi has 4 and PG has 3. That worries me a little bit because I haven't been watching the game. I don't know why that's happening. But
points up now. Harden has 17. Westbrook has 15. Kawhi Leonard 15, and the hottest player in the NBA, literally the hottest player, Paul George, only with 9.
Oh, there we go. It just
like that's the problem. Is Paul George has been one of the best players to start the season. He's been hitting everything, but it takes away from kind of his game. And that's what I was
too much ball dominance, man. We've praised on ball dominance on so many teams, man, and they just went to the top of my list.
And we look at assist here, and neither one of them has assists over 5. So that's a problem there as well. Which is this has been one of the best assist teams in the NBA for a minute, and that's another issue that I'm worried about. So I don't like it. I think they do make the playoffs, but I don't think they get in the top 4. I really don't. I think they may be kind of down a little bit. Well, we'll see. Like anything can happen. Maybe Harden gets his beard out of his butt and starts playing a little bit better, But he's gonna love those strip clubs in LA, though. That's the problem. But
yeah, for sure.
I just don't like it. It's too.
I think the word's too much. Really, I just think it's too much. I think the only way I could see even a little bit of it working is Russell Westbrook has to come off the bench. There's no way you're starting those 4 in a lineup. I know it's small ball. That's how, basketball is nowadays. But that's a horrible lineup, man. That's not a good lineup. It's not.
On paper, 5 years ago, it's the greatest lineup in the NBA.
For sure. But I will tell you right now, even 5 years ago, they lose. Yeah. They lose even 5 years ago. It's too ball dominant. A team, people forget about being a team is just a bench is huge. Your second unit is absolutely huge. The reason the Denver Nuggets are so good is because there is not a hole in their whole team. Their whole team is consistent from their coaching staff to their starters to their bench. And, all these teams, I'm so sick and tired of this, this forced superstar, put them together. And then, oh, my God, it didn't work. Oh, my God, they only played 20
Seems like
games.
It does not work more than it actually works.
Yeah, and then they're surprised. Oh, my God, they got injured. Oh, now this person wants out. Well, what'd you expect? And now you just sent your team back 5 years because you got rid of all your draft picks. You got rid of all your depth. And so I think Steve Ballmer panicked a little bit, man. I think Steve Ballmer kind of just jump sailed and wanted to just get the best player available.
You have a new arena opening that's the most state-of-the-art arena in NBA history opening next year. You got to have players there. By the way, they're all going to be unrestricted free agents at the end of the year too, which ought to be fun. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting just to see what the Clippers do. As a Clippers fan myself, I don't like it.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I'll eat crow. But
no, I will say I respect you being a honest fan, man, because I know a lot of people who are Clippers fans are like, oh my God, it's going to work so well because of the star power of the names, and so this isn't me hating on the Clippers at all. It's just, it's truth. If, the Lakers, people were saying Harden should go to the Lakers. The same thing would have been said for the Lakers. Another ball dominant player, and it would have been absolutely freaking terrible.
That would have been terrible.
So I respect the honesty, and it's the truth. They got worse for sure. But you didn't give up too much, though. I will say you didn't give up too much.
You gave up some defense.
Yeah, but so the full trade was what? Batum.
Well, I hate that. Yeah, I loved him. That dude makes threes in the most clutch moment,
and the ball comes from right here every time.
Dude, defensive. Every time he shoots it, I always yell, "Batum goes to dynamite!" I love it, man. I'm not gonna be able to say that anymore. It sucks.
No, yeah, for sure.
And Covington is one of the best defenders in the league. He's not a great offensive threat at all, but I don't know. It's like the Clippers are going to go to some weird pick and roll offense, short, small ball, and we'll see how it works out. You got to make shots. If Kawhi, George, Harden, I'm going to take Westbrook out of this. Don't make their shots. They're not going to win games
for sure.
It went from the Clippers are one of the best two-way defensive, offensive teams to this now, where these 3 stars have to make shots every game. To have a chance, and that's not what I like, and that's kind of where I'm going at.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. That's exactly what you'll see. Those games, I mean, very Brooklyn Nets kind of esque, right? Like those games where they won the game, they absolutely went crazy, and like the points were through the roof for all three superstars, and blah blah blah. And then the games that they didn't, it was weird. You know, it was like one person went off, the other one didn't, the other one's pissed. Now they're talking to the press. Like, it was just too much, man. Headache. But we'll get off that. We'll get off that.
Hey, speaking of, well, I was hoping that we would still have a winless team, but finally the Memphis Grizzlies finally got a win.
Yeah, right.
They look bad.
It's bad, man.
Even with Ja Morant, it's going to be bad. They're not making the playoffs, right?
No, right? I mean, there's no way. They're not. I'm not forgetting anybody else, right? Like if Ja comes back and this is their team, right? I mean,
that's it. Yep.
Yeah, like Steven Adams is out.
He's out for the year.
Yeah. So, like, there's no way Ja Morant's coming back, right? And like taking this team to the playoffs.
I mean,
it's absolutely no way.
You have to probably
maybe a play-in.
Plus minus probably an extra 10 points a game, possibly. But
yeah.
I mean, their plus minus right now is bad. they're getting killed, man.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's not good. And we were really, I want to say congratulations to the Orlando Magic, man. 4-2 in fourth place right now in the East. We thought they would be the Memphis Grizzlies where they are. And then the only undefeated team left is still the Boston Celtics. So maybe you're right about that. But I was right about Milwaukee. I said they would be slow out of the gate.
Yeah.
And they have been. They haven't quite meshed yet.
Yeah,
but you
we knew
can
that.
See what it could become.
For sure.
Unlike the Clippers, you can see what it can become.
And the Celtics too, man, it's like one of our biggest things was, health. So I'm not surprised that they're fine.
God, that team looks good.
It's insane. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely I don't know, man. There's not a weakness in that starting five. I'll tell you that right now. That's for sure.
And Denver 6-1. The one loss wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
The Mavericks were up the last undefeated team in the West, but they had a loss. Friday.
We got a question about the Mavericks.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think we're pretty spot on. The Suns off to a slow start, but
injuries and it's been weird for the Suns. It's been weird.
So, all right, well, let's jump into the Rants on the Street questions to see where we're at. That's a little NBA coverage. We're not talking about UFC because the main event was canceled this week. I know it's a pay-per-view.
I didn't even watch this week, dude.
Don't even buy the pay-per-view this week. I'm not even. I'll be in Vegas and I'm watching USC Oregon, baby. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure.
More on that last half. Slaughter. The next half hour. We'll see. I have some thoughts on it later, but
yeah.
We'll go from there. All right, number one. What we got here?
Yeah, we're starting in the NFL, NBA today. That's what we're rocking. So first question, is Will Levis legit in your eyes? Has he done enough to prove that
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I've been saying this all year. He's the best quarterback on the Tennessee Titans roster. Low bar. But
by far though. Yeah, by far.
It's a rough situation for him, right? Come in, have a really good game, figure out that, hey, DeAndre Hopkins is here. Maybe I should throw him the ball deep.
Yeah.
Oh, that worked. But then, short week going to Thursday, less preparation for him, and now he's a starter. So the defense gets to prep against what they saw from his game sooner. So he's but I still think even though they lost, the dude could make some really good throws and accurately. He had some stinkers too. I'm not going to lie, but all rookies do. Even CJ Stroud had some stinkers this year. Bryce Young's had plenty, but I don't know, man. I like what I see out of him. I like the grit. I like the toughness. And I think with DeAndre Hopkins and get that running game going with Henry, which they did Thursday. They still lost the game, but the game plan was there. And by the way, is Mike Vrabel growing into? He's going to have a career as a Robert De Niro lookalike when he's done. Dude, his face is on the sidelines like, that's Robert De Niro 20 years ago. What the heck? It's crazy. But it's true. Look it up. Give it a goog, my fellow ranters. But it is crazy. And I like him. I really do like him. And I think he's going to be an okay, if not better than average NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow. I'm not saying he's Herbert, Mahomes,
for sure.
But I mean, look at the quarterback landscape in the NFL right now. Like, really look at it. It is bad. You have maybe 15 guarantees and then you have a bunch of what's, and then you have a holy crap.
Yeah, no, for sure. Especially
and
this year.
I think he's better than the holy crap.
Yeah,
and he's in that what's category, which is,
and he's moving up. He's moving in that what's category, man.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
When Joshua Dobbs has played for 3 teams in the last 8 months. Yeah. So there you go. I like him.
I think watching him on Thursday, I didn't watch the Falcons game that they had the week before that where he went off, and that was a great game. DeAndre Hopkins broke out. You know, it was great to happen right before the deadline. You know, to probably secure that you're keeping him. But my biggest thing was Thursday, right? You know, Thursday he walked into Pittsburgh. You know, in a Thursday night game, prime time. That is
tough environment.
Extremely tough environment. You know, it's cold. And you're playing against TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith. We just got Cam Hayward back on that D line. I mean, that is
he was a beast too.
Pass rush. You know what I mean? And he sat in there, and it was very reminiscent of the Texans game. I know they lost, and I know the Texans killed us. When I watched the Texans games, there were throws where I was like, CJ Stroud's not going to make that throw. And then he made the throw, and it was a good throw. And I watched Will Levis do that last night, or on Thursday night. There was throws where I was like, TJ Watt is almost there, and most rookie quarterbacks who, this is their second game, would have tucked the football. They would have tried to run. They would have, lost the football. He sat in there last second, threw off his back foot, perfect throw. There was a lot of positives from this guy, man. I think there was one negative, and it was the throw at the end of the game. Which
that was a bad throw.
It's a bad throw, but I mean, it is what it is. It's tough. It's the late game.
They attacked that middle like 3 straight times too, and
and I was very surprised because it was like right before that we dropped one.
And I'm like, why? It was,
and it was a weird throw. It was like a sidearm bad throw. So you live and learn from those. But like you said, when you look around the NFL at these quarterbacks, I mean, I'll take him, right? Like I have Kenny Pickett, and I'm looking at Kenny Pickett. I'm looking at Will Levis, and very soon I'm going to start making those comparisons because Will Levis looks like a better quarterback. I'm not going to lie. And he's strong. He's a quarterback that you want. He's weird. I like that he's weird. You know what I mean? He puts mayo in his coffee. He's crazy. He's a quarterback that you want, leading your team. And he reminds me a lot of a Vrabel quarterback, just tough. So I think he fits the scheme. I think he fits the scheme really well over there in Tennessee.
I agree. I like him. And I haven't seen a year like this in a long time where this many bad quarterbacks have been in the NFL.
Yeah, then injuries and stuff like that. It's just
injuries have not helped for sure. But
no, still though, it's crazy. Like, I mean,
I feel like Sam Howell, man. I think Sam Howell's a good NFL quarterback.
Yeah, I do.
His offensive line has been the worst we've ever seen in the stat-wise in the NFL, in the history of the NFL. And the dude's still putting up fantasy points.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I also think if you compare it, to Sam Howell's expectations at the beginning of the season, the guys already, ran past that.
But okay, what I saw from Sam Howell week 18 when he started last year were the type of throws I saw Will Levis make this year when I said this guy is going to be an NFL quarterback. I could just tell his poise, the throw. He's not panicking. He just makes the throw, whatever the result is, what it is, right? Trust your player's ability. If it's DeAndre Hopkins or last year with Sam Howell, if it's Terry McLaurin, you throw it up and say, my receiver will make this catch, or it's a defensive pass interference, or the intercepted, or it's incomplete like that. But they accept it. And Levis is doing that. He's making the throws and accept it. And shout out to Vrabel for actually giving him the opportunity to do that. Because Tannehill will never, and Willis definitely will never. So Levis is good, man.
Yeah. No.
By the way, shout out to Mahaluk. The DK they don't have the Kansas State USC game on the odds to bet on.
Wow,
it's like the biggest college basketball game of the night.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, try FanDuel, or I saw it on BetMGM earlier too. Is when I did my analysis.
I completely forgot about college basketball today.
Started today, baby.
Yeah,
we're here. We're here.
I love it.
It's real and it's glorious.
College basketball is so much fun, dude. College in general. I love college.
I did too.
Yep. On to number 2. Let's see. We're staying in the NFL. This one pains me to talk about. Absolutely pains me because they're still winning games. But will the Browns keep winning games?
I mean, their defense is no joke, right? I mean, obviously, Clayton too, ain't it? But I mean, but even though they won, Watson, I know Amari Cooper had a good game, but Watson's still under 200 yards passing, like not a lot. Like,
yeah, it was a weird game.
But hasn't it felt like every Browns game has been that weird game, no matter who was the quarterback, whether in it somehow against the 49ers or like, I mean, looking at the AFC, I mean, one of the Browns, the Chargers, like one of these teams are going to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
So they could, I mean, they'll win more games. Let's be real, but how much? I don't know. But their defense is no joke, man. And they do have the already just cement. Okay. CJ Stroud is going to win Rookie of the Year, and Myles Garrett's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's already cemented. We're almost halfway through the season now. They do have that going for them. So, and their defense is no joke, and probably the best defense in the NFL. So that will give them 1 or 2, 3, going forward. But for the most part, the offense is still not that impressive. And when it comes to playoff time, you got to put up points.
Yeah, no, 100%. You have to.
So I don't know. I think they're right where I thought they would be, and missed out on the playoffs by like one game or so. I was never really high on Watson anyway. So
I think the only reason I mean, if you had asked me at the beginning of the season, then I definitely think they're like right where they were supposed to be for sure. But once Nick Chubb went down, I was a little questionable of where they would be at this point in the season. But I think that's just what it is when you have a good defense, man. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the reasons that they're always in the game is because their defense makes some sort of play that allows them to be in the game. And Cleveland's edge rushers and their pass defense, it's no joke. So if the offense starts clicking, and one thing too about Cleveland, they have an easy schedule going out.
They do have an easy schedule.
They have an easy schedule. So if they can continue to, string together, steal Tomlin's quotes, you got to stack wins. Stacking wins is huge. And if Cleveland can continue to stack wins, then you kind of come to a point where you're like, dang, man, this team is blah, blah, blah. Wow. That's a shock.
I don't think they're going to be above the Ravens or the Bengals.
I don't either.
Obviously your Steelers are playing good too right now, right? So
yeah, for sure. And my thing with the AFC North is it's like literally split, and it's funny though because it's like the good teams and the mediocre teams. But the Browns and the Steelers have one of the 2 easiest schedules remaining in the league, and then the Ravens and the Bengals have some of the 2 hardest schedules remaining. But the Ravens and the Bengals are a level above the Browns and the Steelers.
100%.
That's where it gets so interesting in that division though, because it kind of evens out with the hard schedule and then the easy schedule. The level of teams. So like as of right now, 4 teams are in the playoffs. I mean, that's absolutely insane.
Let the Chargers win tonight.
No, for sure. But it's crazy to think about, that possibly could be something at the end.
It could be.
4 teams are in.
I can actually see it happen with how bad the AFC East has been.
Yeah.
The South. Yeah. I mean, although shout out to Houston, man, they're 500. There's a chance there, but I think Jacksonville is the cream of that crop, and
I think
we'll let it all play out, but
turn heads, man.
I'm not excited about the Browns. There's nothing exciting about them.
Yeah, not at all. They're not that team. They're like the Steelers, like literally like the Steelers. Like there's just nothing exciting to watch. There's nothing. There's 0 exciting stuff to watch. But you somehow turn it on in the 4th quarter with a minute left, and they're winning. And it's like it's crazy.
I don't, but yeah.
We'll see. It's wild. It's wild. So I don't know. Right. We'll see. But number 3, are the Dolphins phonies?
Yes. Yeah, where's that signature win? They don't have it. But they could beat up on the bad teams by the Broncos. They can score 70, and then they can't beat the Chiefs. They can't beat the Bills, who have their own struggles. Their defense has issues. The Chiefs were playing bad football. Yeah. Bad. Mahomes had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. By the way, he's been playing not good football for 4 weeks now. But yet they're winning games. Well, they lost one of them because of it. But now they're winning games. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Dolphins should have won that game. Like with their offense, with everything they have. I know Waddle was hurt for a little bit, came back. They didn't get Mozart going till the second half. I don't know, man. That game, all these England, Germany games are always tough to watch, in my opinion. They're always the same type of game, right?
Yeah.
We saw them earlier with the Jacksonville ones, and it's just kind of like, what is going on here? They're like, it's like not like the normal games you see on Red Zone on the normal slate, right? It's always different, but I don't know. They need that signature win.
Yeah,
they need that signature win, and they could have had it, man, because that's one of the worst games I've seen the Chiefs play all year, and somehow they still lost. and this is the team who's the highest scoring. You know, I know the Chiefs have a really good defense this year, which is surprising, which I didn't see coming. But I don't know. I still like the Chiefs team to be the best team, even though I like the Ravens now. I think they'll get it together. It's surprising how slow they've been, how not as good they've looked. But the Dolphins, man, they just need a win. And the Bills should have run away with this division already, but they're leaving it close for them too. So, yeah, I wouldn't say they're phonies, but maybe they're just, a great offense, terrible defense type of team.
Yeah.
The Chargers.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a believer in Tua at all. I won't ever be a believer in Tua. I'm a believer in those receivers.
That's what it is. It's the weapons he has around him.
Yeah, exactly.
And the speed. He has a lot of speed around him.
Like something happens when they play those competitive teams where like you watch and like that whole outside zone run thing and like everything they do.
Nothing works. Nothing
disappears. Works. Exactly. Completely disappears.
Yep.
And so that really worries me. You know what I mean? And Waddle has struggled this year. He's struggled to find Waddle. He's struggled to get the ball to Waddle.
He's been in and out of games hurt a lot.
Yeah,
it's like 3 games. He's left the game, went to the blue medical tent, and came back.
It worries me, though. It worries me. Like, and you look at an AFC that obviously has been underperforming a little bit, but it's still loaded. Especially once playoff time comes and all teams are together. And yes. I just I don't put Miami at the cream of the top. I really don't. So quick answer, yeah, no, I think they're phonies.
Yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs, but
for sure. I mean, they're a playoff team, but beating those teams that's like you walk into their stadium or they come in here, whatever it is, and it's a tough matchup. I don't see them, pulling.
But Achane is coming off the IR.
That is big.
A little bit.
Just got to remain healthy. It's a huge thing. Stay healthy. Everybody, stay healthy. Number 4, we're going to go over to basketball. Completely switch gears. Can the Mavs? Told you, be quick. Can the Mavs be legit contenders?
Yeah, I mean they are every year, right? We've talked about it. They obviously the Kyrie Luka thing last year, which we said when it happened, we're like, it's not going to work out too well this year. But give them an off season. When we said this on the show, you and I both said this. Give them an off season to work it out. It could, create something.
Yeah. Sure.
They do have a little bit of a bench. I love what they did in the draft. I really do. With Lively,
where that's just the biggest.
Prosper hasn't even played yet. And he's going to be good, I think, in the future. I love what I see out of Lively. Just a good role player that could take some big. They needed big. They needed big up front in the paint.
Yeah,
and they have it now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And it's showing a little bit, and I like it. And I like how the offseason worked out, and they're playing good basketball together. Now, even they fixed that, they were still short on the starting rotation to begin with, so their bench is still not deep. But at least they're putting 5 players on the court that can role play around those 2 guys to kind of help them out. So yeah, the contenders. They're not as good as Denver. I don't even think they're as good as the Lakers at this point. But I think they could give the Warriors win in 7.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I agree with you. I think you got to give it to him, right? Because Luka and Kyrie, and then the draft was absolutely huge. I remember me and you that day of the draft saying
Lively was a steal.
Those picks. And it's exactly what they needed, like you said. I mean, the biggest that they were going was Dwight Powell. You know what I mean? I mean that's absolutely
terrible, man. He's great at DFS with everyone rests, though, man. You play that guy every time.
But yeah, they're great acquisitions at the draft because that was a huge piece for them. So
yeah, I like the team.
That's their contenders. Yeah,
I think they could. I think their ceiling is the Western Conference Finals.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. I mean, a Luka ran team, right? It's like you always gotta. You
but
never
their floor is going out in the play-in. So
yeah, I agree.
By the way, can we talk about how terrible those courts were for the stupid in-game tournament we got to watch? What was that? My eyes hurt.
So hard.
I couldn't even watch the game. I had to turn it off. It was like bright blue, bright yellow. I'm like, what? And it counts as a regular season's total.
Yep.
I'm like, what? Stop it with this. This is so stupid. And the courts are bright and terrible. I'd rather watch. Remember when hockey made that puck bright blue with a red flame every time? I'd rather watch that. That lasted like 2 weeks than watching this court and this NBA play-in thing. It was terrible. I hated it. It was gross. I sent you a text. I said, I can't watch this.
No, yeah,
my eyes hurt.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a 3D movie in the 90s. This is terrible.
You gotta love when the players are saying, "We have no clue." We don't know. We don't know what this is about. We don't know what this is.
Nobody knows what it is. They literally told us nothing. They told us nothing. And it's like, here's the schedule like a week ahead of time.
Yeah.
Play-in starts, or not play-in, but the in tournament. It's like, oh, so you're just taking regular scheduled games and
making them something
for no reason, and then hurt everybody's eyes who tries to watch the Clippers play on a Friday night, but the court is bright blue and red, and you can't even watch it. You can't even see them dribble a basketball because you're so incompetent of doing that for something that's nothing. Get the hell out of here. I'm cutting this and putting it on Instagram tomorrow. That's for sure. But Jesus, that was terrible. And it's disgusting.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's horrible, man. It's absolutely horrible. It's all money.
And I was like, oh, maybe it's like a special night for the Denver Nuggets. And I go to every other game because I have the NBA pass, whatever.
Yeah.
All the courts were like that. I was like, wow, this is like a nightmare. I feel like I'm in The Shining right now. What is going on?
Yeah.
And that stupid trophy is like half the court in the middle. Nobody watched that stupid trophy. No one cares about that stupid trophy. No one even knew what that trophy was until yesterday. No one cares, man.
We said bring back the NBA Finals trophy court, and they brought back that.
Yeah, and the trophy's ugly too. It's stupid. Look, it looks like something you got it like just for sports down the street,
it's so dumb.
For your neighborhood soccer team for winning the under fives tournament or something. It's stupid, man. Get out of here. All right, number 5. Sorry.
That's what we do here, dude. It's a ranting show.
Okay.
Number 5, is Philadelphia better without James Harden? Straight up.
Well, they're 4-1, and we said on this show a couple weeks ago that is the beginning of the season is going to tell a lot about what they're going to do. Right? They're either going to falter and be, the Memphis Grizzlies, or they're going to be 4-1 and in second place in the Eastern Conference.
Yep.
Maxi's him, man.
He is him.
Maxi's him. They're playing good basketball. They did have a little bit of a light schedule to start the season. I'm not going to lie. So it will come up where they will have some tougher games coming up. But after going 1-1, they've 4 in a row now and looking good and winning well. They're not just squeaking games out. They're winning and playing really good team basketball. And that's the Harden effect, man.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah,
I like them. So I think they're a playoff team. I think they're going to be probably just above the play-in tournament. I hate that too. But still stupid. But I think they'll be fine and a really hard out, especially Maxey. But by the way, Barnes has been playing good too. I'm not gonna lie. But Maxey.
No, yeah, for sure. Maxey, right? Yeah,
is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
For sure. Yeah, no, I think Philadelphia. It's hard to say straight up that like Philly's better without James Harden, because I don't want to say that. But I will say I think they're better off as a team, chemistry wise without James Harden. And I think that's obvious. I think that's
very obvious.
Exactly. Like they're happy. You got younger, and you added pieces. I said this a couple weeks ago. I think Kelly Oubre Jr. was a great add for them. He plays off the ball very, very well, plays great defense, gets rebounds, scores about 10, 12 points around there. Exactly what they needed. But I think one of the biggest keys to this team, and getting rid of James Harden does free this up, is freeing Tobias Harris. When Tobias Harris is scoring points alongside Maxey, alongside Embiid, they're a very good team.
Also, he's a great defender, underrated.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. So, he knocks down big time shots. But the thing with Harden, though, is it's like it was such a focus on that pick and roll. Tobias subsided. So I think they could be something. I think if you build around those three, what you have. And if you keep winning games, and you start to see, hey, we won against Milwaukee, hey, maybe we won against Boston, whatever it is, then you may have something.
Tobias Harris is similar to Drew Holiday. He's a very underrated player that consistently, consistently produces.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm huge. I love mid-range shots. Mid-range has absolutely gotten taken away from the NBA, and I love players that do it. Tobias Harris is one of those players that just gets to his, where he needs to be on the court, shoots a jump shot, and high percentage shots.
146 to 128 today. Obviously, it was against the Wizards, so it's not crazy. Batum, 11 points, 2 rebounds. Covington, 7 points, no rebounds, 3 steals. Those are the players that they got back already contributing to this big win.
Yeah.
And you're looking at it. 48 and 11, by the way, for Embiid.
That's also,
Tobias Harris, 18, 5 and 5. By the way, let's not forget about Martin Jr. coming from the Clippers, too.
Very true. That's a very underrated pickup. Very underrated. He's young.
And Marcus Morris Sr.
Mm-hmm.
How many players they get from the Clippers in this stupid Harden trade? Jesus Christ!
I didn't even notice that it was all those players, man. Those are some solid.
And they all played tonight and contributed to the 148 win. Well, the Clippers with James Harden lost to the freaking Knicks. No offense, Sportsnut Nick. No offense. In New York by 14.
We'll see. I wonder how that locker
The
room
Clippers only scored 97 points.
It's tough, man. It's supposed to be an offensive shootout, and 97 points is not good. 97
It
points.
is not. 17-3. The Chargers over the Jets. The Jets just got the kickoff and just got sacked by, guess who? Khalil Mack. All right, my friend. Thomas Stevens at Better Thomas. Get your questions in. I'm going to go ahead and just because they trolled me, I'm going to give the hoodie to the Philadelphia 76ers question from that troll. And it's fitting as it is. You have a wonderful night. Enjoy the rest of the game.
Sure.
Enjoy some basketball night. Enjoy your USC Trojans against Kansas State. That's going to be on USA or True TV, one of those tonight. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be the game.
And we'll see you back next week, and we'll talk some more, college basketball, NBA, and
I know. I would really like to see some more college basketball questions come in.
I'm going to be doing my bets again, so we'll be winning some money
yes,
here.
Sir. Yes, sir.
All right, Fred. I'm off to Vegas, so any bets you want me to take, give me a text. I will be there
for sure.
from Thursday to Sunday.
You flying out there?
Yeah. It's only like $70 from here. It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah, you got.
Although they're building the grandstands and everything for the F1 race in like a week.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. But we're staying at the MGM Grand, so that'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah,
It's always
right
a nice place to stay.
Be fun.
All right, man.
Friend.
I'll talk to
you next week, Thomas.
All right, later.
All right. Get your questions in to @BetterThomas on Instagram, TikTok, all that. And we'll answer them like we do every week here on Monday Night Rants. We talked about college basketball. We talked about the NFL. We talked about NBA. We talked about MLB. We haven't talked hockey. Or not tonight. Sorry. But we will talk college football when we come back. As joining me after his vacation, he has a story to tell, too, for What Say Ye, Heavy T, after we talk about college football as we go into the NFL. I want to ask him about Arthur Smith shaving his mustache after that embarrassing loss yesterday as well. After the break, back by popular demand, my boy, the legend, also a guillotine loser. Tyler Heavy T Soto joins it until we run you guys out to the end of the night. We'll see you soon, my fellow ranters. Heavy T's up next. Let's go.
Of the NHL games, I had a conversation with Coupe A Fiasco yesterday when we were producing High Stakes, and he was talking about playing video games. And I, since he covers fantasy football, I said, "Hey, are you going to be getting the new Madden this year?" And he goes, "Yeah, I don't really play Madden. I play NHL." And that tells you, and it really does, that I do feel that the NHL game is better than Madden. I feel like Madden is overrated. The NHL game is so realistic. I don't know if you guys saw the trailer and all the new additions that they added to this game, but it really looks good. I tried finding all the games that I had of NHL, and I thought I had a lot. I only have 4 of them. And that's because I used to live with my my roommate and good friend who got me into hockey, and we would play most of it in his house. So he has most of the games, but I do got 21.
There you go.
I got NHL 18. We got Connor McDavid up there. NHL 12, I think, was the start of the new consoles for me. But the big one, the holy grail of NHL games, NHL 94 for the Sega Genesis, right there. Look at that. Look at that beautiful cover. Look at it. Looks like a VHS tape. That's how good this game was.
No, let me stop you right there. So people, VHS tape, if you don't know, it's this like rectangular black plastic with the magnetic tape on the inside. Tape's this big. You put it in something called a VCR. For a little while, there was something called Beta that didn't last too long.
Look at this cartridge. I mean, they're not cartridges anymore. They're either discs or those little memory cards. But man, that thing is thick, right? And
you don't even need a cartridge or a disc anymore. You can buy the digital version.
And then you got Ron Barr on the book. I mean, he used to be always in the intro telling you about the team and what was going to be happening in the game. So NHL 94 is by far my favorite game, sports game. I love that game.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network, at Better Network, and all your favorite social media platforms, at Fancy Alarm as well, at Fancy Alarm and all your social media platforms. But the only place you get the show is on YouTube. So make sure you check that out and like and subscribe for more like this every week. Back from vacation, my boy, my producer, Tyler Heavy T Soto. What's going on, my friend?
It is
Are you wearing a Bengals?
I am, because you know what it is in Cincinnati? Very cold. Okay, so I needed something to warm my ears at the game last night. And yes, for those who don't know, I did attend Bengals Bills Sunday Night Football last night. Flew back this morning. I'm absolutely exhausted, but we will get to that story. We're going to get to college football first.
Yes, we are. I guess Mile High Luke here in the chat. He's going to be. Why is BenderCast still not live? It is live, man. You can check out Shawnee Mac, the BenderCast, on the Better Sports BetterCast app. That's bettercast.app. You can check that out and follow along the football game and watch me as well at the same time. You know, dual screen. That's what all the millennials are doing nowadays. So have some fun with that. My boy Mile High Luke will be in Vegas as well for a cannabis conference. Ooh,
hell yeah!
It is legal here in California. So
yes,
that sounds like. Maybe I'm going a little bit too soon here, Heavy T. I should wait. Go for Thanksgiving.
I mean, yeah, but here's the thing: is that the week after Thanksgiving, you might be getting the deconstruction of that F1 race, so that could cause some problems.
Yes. That's causing problems too, because they're talking about people going on strike that are working in Vegas too this weekend. I read in the local Fresno Bee here, Fresno, California.
Yeah, support your local papers, people.
Yeah, support your local papers. Yeah. Does anyone get paper anymore, like delivered to them? If you do, let me know in the chat. I don't think that's a thing.
Not delivered to me. My family stopped that years ago, but my dad will still go out. If the news headline is big enough, my dad will still go out and get an actual physical copy of the LA Times.
What does that run you now? Like $1.50? $2?
I think depending on which one like if it's the Sunday one, because that's like the big one, it might be $2.50, but other than that, I don't think it's more than like $1.50.
That's less than chicken nuggets at McDonald's. It's crazy. That's insane. Going to college football real quick. Another big win week for me. Don't try to rain them. I'm not raining on your parade, man. I love it. Another big week. Obviously, I put a little bit of extra money on the Oregon game. I thought they would absolutely blow out Cal, which they did. I did a teaser on the Georgia game, and I feel bad about it because I actually lost money there because I won, but I would have had the normal spread outright. Georgia struggled a little bit there. But overall, again, here we sit, 70% for the whole year, even with a losing week by one game the week before that. But this week, and I'll be in Vegas for this, and I'm going to have a lot of fun on Saturday. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'm going to be drinking some hard Mountain Dews and watching college football, my friend.
Well, I'll tell you, I will be texting you to throw some bets in for me. I will use some money.
I will definitely do that. Yes, I will be there. We're at the MGM, so we'll be at the sportsbook there. I'll be watching college football. My wife and my brother-in-law's wife, or my sister-in-law, I guess, they'll be shopping at the mall, and we'll be watching college football.
Hey, some early Christmas shopping there, so there you go.
Yeah, well, she has a budget.
Oh.
She's probably watching right now, so oops. All right, big games this week. So a lot to talk about here.
Yeah,
obviously, the biggest one we will save for last, which I think we're both be on the same page on that one. The spread did surprise me that one a little bit, but we'll talk about it as we go. Let's start at the top. The big one, 9 a.m., big noon, or 9 a.m. my time, but the big noon, Michigan at Penn State. I was really surprised on this line, like really surprised. And I think a ton of people are going to take Michigan here at only -4.5. That scares me a little bit. Why is Vegas so low on this? This is a Michigan team that's blowing people out, a Penn State team that lost to Ohio State kind of badly when we thought they would probably cover that spread. They did not, and they haven't looked the same since. Do you like this -4.5 for Michigan, or are you kind of going against the public for Penn State here? Although remember, it's in Penn State.
Yeah, it's in Happy Valley. Looking at it right now, actually on FanDuel, they have it at 5.5.
It's moved. It's moved then.
Yeah, it's moved a little bit. I think I'm still taking Michigan 5.5. Just Penn State does not look all that good. To be perfectly honest, there's not that many teams this year that feel like they're top 10 worthy. I feel like you have like the top 6 and then everything after
drop
that
off.
can kind of
There's a huge drop off after the top.
It's
three.
a massive drop off. I feel like everything after that could just kind of shuffled around and everyone would be fine with it. I'm still probably taking Michigan 5.5. The over under is 44.5. That's, I don't know, man. 44.5. I might be taking the under because
I'm feeling under on that all day. I'll be honest.
I'm expecting Michigan to put up a lot of points, but that's the problem. I don't think Penn State puts up a lot. So
every time these Big Ten schools play each other, it's
the
always low scoring, man. Every time.
Yeah,
Like even Ohio State, Penn State was still under 2, right? I don't even want to talk about the Iowa Northwestern game. What a debacle that was.
Look, if there's look, first off, never bet on a game inside of a baseball stadium. Just don't do it for your own sanity. Number one.
Also true.
Number two, just stop watching Iowa in general.
Thank you. Yeah, they're terrible. Why are they in the top 25 3 straight times this year? I have no idea. That was garbage.
Like I said, everything's a wash.
I think I'm not touching the spread because it scares me a little bit how Vegas has it laid and the amount of public, but I think I am going under at 44.5.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like Michigan 5.5 is a safe bet.
It's too safe. It's too safe.
No, but here's my thinking with it too, especially with all the controversy that's going on over Michigan and sign stealing, which by the way, honestly, if there's sign stealing, who cares? Change your signs. Okay. That's a part of every sport. So maybe they took it to a little bit of an extreme that was too much, but who cares? Baseball, football, I'm sure there's hockey signs out there. I know there's basketball. There's sign stealing everywhere. Just who cares? It's part of the game. It's just annoying. But anyways, with that in mind, considering the controversy, I think Michigan is going to want to kill them to basically show that, like, yeah, we belong here.
I agree with that, but I'm still not touching it. I'm just taking the under. That's my bet on this one.
Oh, I'd still probably take the under, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I could see this game being like 35-0.
Yes, completely. Actually,
yeah.
Be honest with you.
In which case, like, oh yeah, Michigan destroyed them, but it's still the under. So
correct. I kind of like that. So we're taking the under there. That's our pick for this week. Alabama, Kentucky. I want to talk about it real quick. We were low on Alabama. They've been proving some doubters wrong the last couple of weeks here. Actually, more than a couple, about 4 weeks now.
Yeah, I've been slowly figuring it out.
Milroe looks like a starting quarterback against Kentucky here. It's in Kentucky. It's only 10.5 Alabama. However, it's more split than you would think. I'm thinking about taking Alabama in the 10.5 in Kentucky.
I would as well. I think 10.5 is a pretty good bet.
Cool. Is there another game here before we go down? I know the Miami, Florida. I'm Florida State all day. Miami stinks. The Utah, Washington, we could talk about. Washington 8.5. Utah looked really good last week. They got dominated by Oregon, but who hasn't? Oh yeah, Washington. So what do we do here? 8.5 Washington at home. Utah still missing Rising, missing tight ends, missing running backs, missing players, but still their defense shows up.
And it is for that reason. So I'm actually on FanDuel looking at this game as well. It is also moved. It is at 9.5.
No way.
Yeah, 5? And honestly, Utah plus 9.5. I think I'm taking that.
I'm taking that. I also like the under on this at 54.5 as well.
Yeah, because you know what, the Washington, now don't get me wrong, they had an amazing shootout against USC, which I'm sure we'll get to in a second. Mm-hmm. But the 2 games before that against Arizona State and against Stanford, and one of those games was at home. I believe it was the Arizona State one.
Correct.
Washington, for whatever reason, they were just struggling.
Oregon broke them. Even though they won that game, ever since that game, Oregon has broke them. Like all their emotion was in that Oregon-Washington game, and they have broken them ever since.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's going to end up being Oregon-Washington in the Pac-12 championship, and I think Oregon beats them. I think Oregon comes back.
Well, they should have beat them in Washington, but yeah, more on that.
Yeah, they should have. So yeah, I think for this one, I'm going to take Utah plus 9.5. I like it.
I like that as well. I'll take the 9.5 right now. It's moved that much. I will take the 9.5. Everyone thinking Washington will just dominate, but Utah, man, that's no slouch. I do like the under. There's a 54.5 seems really high for a really good defense on the Utah side. I have a feeling this is going to be a grind it out, gritty game that goes under there. So I'm going to take the under as well. Tennessee, Missouri, real quick. Missouri surprised us last week. Get a little closer than we thought they would, which ruined my teaser, but here we are. Tennessee 7-2, Missouri 7-2 in Missouri. Tennessee only by 1 on the road. I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of people are taking Tennessee. I'm taking Missouri in this game.
You know what the funny thing is? I guess maybe I just haven't been paying attention to them. I didn't realize Missouri was this good.
They're good.
So
they play great defense. They almost had 2 big upsets against top 10 teams this year. Those are their 2 losses. They're playing great football.
Yeah, so clearly I haven't been paying attention. And just knowing the way Tennessee plays, like sometimes they're up, sometimes they're really down.
It's the bar chart emoji. It is crazy. Yeah.
No, they're incredibly inconsistent. I think with this one, I'm probably going to go Missouri. So especially if that game's in Missouri, I'm going Missouri.
I like it. And the public is a little bit fading towards Tennessee because of its Tennessee, it's the name, and who's Missouri, but I like Missouri at home in this one. I'm with you there. At 58.5, though, I'm not touching that because I think it's going to be a shootout. So I'm not touching that one in the over. Here's the big game of the weekend, one of them. Ole Miss, number 10, after losing to Alabama where they should have won that game. It's so embarrassing that they should have won that game. That was the chance to win against Alabama. That was the chance for him to win against Nick Saban right when they're trying to figure out quarterbacks, and they have the opportunities and blew it. They blew it. They should be 9-0. But here we are, number 10 Ole Miss at Georgia, who hasn't looked really like the number 1 team in the country. Obviously, they're number 2 according to college football rankings. I don't agree with that. I'll be honest with you. I don't think Ohio State deserves to be number 1. I think Michigan should more deserve to be number 1 than Ohio State. But what do I do?
Okay, gonna be honest, that's where we disagree. I actually, looking at the strength of schedule, I think Michigan had it number 115 or something like that. Georgia, I think, had it 102. Ohio State was the 15th hardest schedule in the country. I'm fine with that. At least for the first week of rankings, I'm fine with that.
Okay, well, obviously Michigan and Ohio State will figure that out later in the season, but
yeah, which is quickly coming up. That's in like what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
The game's coming, man. We're coming down to it. I think we have 3 weeks left until we get to the conference champions.
Love to see it.
Georgia, Ole Miss. It is Georgia at home, obviously minus 10.5. I'm taking the 10.5.
This one also has moved 11.5, and I think I'm still thinking
that means the public is on me too. Damn.
Yeah, but here's the thing too. I have one very specific rule that I implemented earlier this season. Never trust Lane Kiffin ever.
Yeah.
So
remember
Georgia,
when he trusted him earlier and he let us down?
Yeah, because I had Ole Miss beating Alabama in Tuscaloosa when Alabama was right for the picking.
Lost that one, yeah.
Yeah, and they should have won, and Lane Kiffin is just pulling USC Lane Kiffin things. So, yeah, no, Georgia 11.5 all day.
Yeah, take that too. 58.5. That's so high, man. I hate to be the underdog, but 58.5, I might be putting probably half what I would normally spend on the under there. A little tickle on that as well. It seems really high, especially since we saw Ole Miss and Alabama would go 21-14 earlier this year. Yeah. It's a similar type of game. I just don't see it going over 58.5 at all. Is there any other game besides, before we get to the big one, USC Oregon, that you want to talk about?
You know what? Ohio State, Michigan State. What do you think about the spread? 31.5.
Michigan State has been an absolute train wreck this year, right?
No, they're bad.
And I was actually high on them earlier this week when they played. Was it Ohio State or Penn State? One of the two. And I was like, oh, it was like a 20 spread. I was like, yeah, they'll beat that. They got annihilated like 51-0. It was stupid. So I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that at all. Michigan State, their new coach or interim coach, or their offenses and all sorts of okay, here's how crazy this game is. I'll be real with you. You got to look at two things, right? The spread of this game is what, 32.5, you said?
Yeah.
What's the over-under?
Over-under, let me go back to it real quick, because of course I lost my place when I moved.
Less than 50? Was it 47?
So it's the spread is 31.5. My apologies. The over-under is 47.5.
Think about that.
I mean, you're basically saying if the spread is 31.5 and the over under is what, like 15 points less than that, you're basically saying Ohio State's winning this game like 42-3. You know,
100%. I am not touching this game with a 80-foot pole, man. I am not. That is Vegas pointing you in the right direction. Like, that is insane. 31.5 spread, and the total is 47.5.
Absolutely wild. Yeah,
that's wild.
Absolutely wild spread there.
Not touching it.
Another one that I'm slightly interested in because I believe Quinn Ewers is still hurt. Texas 9.5 on the road at TCU. That'll be an interesting one.
Well, you have 9.5, so it did move a half towards TCU at home because it opened at 10. So the public and the sharps are going towards TCU in this one.
Yeah, it's still not the same. I mean, it's very clearly not the TCU team from last year.
What gave it away?
The loss to Colorado, maybe.
Yeah, they're forward.
But 9.5 is a lot. But you know what? I think Texas still has something to prove now that Oklahoma's lost twice in a row. I think I'm gonna take Texas minus 9.5. That's gonna be the risky one.
No, I don't think it's as risky as you think. I kind of like where the public's going here. They're going towards TCU. I'm going the other way. I like Texas in this one. I think Texas wins big in this game. I really do. I think it's a statement game for them. It's a rivalry game for them. At TCU, TCU is down. I think they knock them down when they're down. You know what I mean? I like Texas a lot. That was actually, I'm glad you said that. That was actually one of my favorite bets of the weekend. So there you go. All right.
Shout out to Bevo. One other one real quick. Yeah. Never forget Bevo tried to kill Uga during the Sugar Bowl. Never forget, people.
That's true.
Anyways, one other one I'm interested in. Arizona State UCLA in Pasadena.
16.5.
Arizona State, this one's at 17.
Oh, 17 moved up.
Even.
Okay.
Yeah, Arizona State, they've been playing some of those Pac-12 teams really well, especially the better ones. I'm actually going to take Arizona State plus 17. I think I'm going to do it.
I like that. I also like the over-under at 45.5 only, too. Okay. Let me just give my fellow Renters a thing. So we talked about the over-under and the high spread for the Ohio State game. We're not touching it. Here's why I like your Arizona State pick right here. The spread is set, 17?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And the over-under is 45.5. That's a lot of points to go either way, right? So yes. I'm with you. I'm actually taking Arizona State to cover in this game because they have points going multiple directions, where the other game we talked about, obviously, Vegas wants Ohio State to win by 40, right? So this is a good chance when you see this really, really low under and a high spread at 17 to take the underdog. This is an important lesson to all you renters out there. Arizona State all day. Arizona State all day on this. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, here's the highest spread of the weekend. Well, not spread, but total. 73.
Oh, when you said spread, I looked at the one below that. I was like, oh, we're really talking Air Force Hawaii over here. 18.5.
Yeah, well, Air Force blew their chances last week, losing to Navy, which is
but you know what? That's one of the military games. Those are really high pressure games for them. I get it. It's fine. But yeah. No, 14.5. USC, Oregon, 73.5 is a lot.
That's what I was talking about, the total. 73.5. That is tempting to take the under on that. Especially if this is a game that goes, 40-22 Oregon?
Because even if it's 35, let's just say it's 35-38, that's just 73, right?
That's not going to happen. The Oregon defense is top 5 defense.
That's what I'm thinking. I think 14.5 is a lot, but it is in Eugene. It is a night game. It's probably going to be on national TV.
And Caleb Williams did just cry in front of everyone after making fun of Max Duggan for crying last year after winning.
Yeah, which that's a whole nother thing. I mean,
he also painted his nails F Utah and then lost to Utah. So
3 times.
Yeah.
3 times. Not once, not twice, not 3 times.
Maybe he'll put F Ducks this weekend and lose another one and cry like a little baby while his mom covers his face in the crowd.
I'm going to go.
USC fans hate me, man.
I'm a diehard USC fan. And I
you agree?
I'm fine with the tears, but everything else, okay. Let's talk about this game, and then I have a small hot take. I'm gonna take Oregon minus 14.5. I think I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
And
14.5. Are you teasing that, or is that the live line? Because it opened at 16.5.
oh, it's at 14.5 on FanDuel. That's what I'm looking at.
Holy cow! People are taking USC like crazy in this.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna take Oregon 14.5.
Yeah, I'm going there too. I'm going against them, baby. I'm going against the public. You think you know, you don't. You don't know how good this Oregon team is. Like, besides the Washington game, they've been blowing out everyone, and USC ain't blowing out anyone. and
Yeah,
that Oregon offense is methodical. They can run the ball. They have the best offensive line in the Pac-12. They have the best receiving core. Well, second best receiving core in the Pac-12. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the Pac-12, the smartest quarterback in the Pac-12. And they have probably the best combination of running backs in the Pac-12 and a top 5 defense. I think this gets out of hand quickly, and it's going to look like the Colorado-Oregon game from earlier this year, or even the Utah-Oregon game from what, 2 weeks ago. I just
that was the other one too. Is that like Utah has been playing really well, and Oregon just kicked their teeth in Salt Lake City, like just absolutely came in and dominated. I'm going to take Oregon minus 14.5.
It
the
goes
over-under,
though.
The over-under, I'm not going to lie, I'm really split on.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's so high. Like it's almost like Vegas is like, we've lost so many unders. We have to do this, guys. We have to do this.
Yeah, I think 73.5 is a little too high. So we're going to lower that.
Yeah.
Or sorry, we're going to bet the under on that one.
Yeah.
So 14.5 in the under.
Well, there you go. I am not going to make a pick on Oregon because that's my team, but I'm going to take the under as well. But I don't think it's close. I think it's going to be over at halftime, one of those games, and Caleb Williams again will be crying in the sidelines to mommy. All right, my friend, we got one more break. When we come back, we have a lot of questions. We got to hear about what happened in Cincinnati. I want you to tell me about what happened to Arthur Smith's mustache last night, and I have to give you a eulogy because you were knocked out of the Guillotine League last week, followed by Case of the Mondays. I'm going to close that for you guys. And during the break, we'll find out if there's another eulogy that has to happen. It'll be next week, but we'll find out if someone's getting kicked out of the Guillotine League. Nobody's leaving. So if somebody does leave next year, everyone, my fellow ranters, I know Mile High Luke, if you want to get on the list, it's a fun league every year. I think next year I'm going to open it up to the extra week in the season. We can get 2 more players in and go all the way to week 18 because it's been that much fun for everybody. So I want to make it happen. All right. After the break, what say ye, Heavy T?
That was good.
All right.
The Bears have to be one of the most inept franchises of any sport I've ever seen in my entire life. And they share the city with the White Sox, who are also inept. Like, that is how bad the Bears are. I just don't understand how you can go your entire existence and the quarterback that wins you a Super Bowl is Jim McMahon. You couldn't find anybody else.
They don't have a good history with quarterbacks, but they let him be the quarterback for a long time, too.
Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you drafted Mitch Trubisky. They were right there. I there's a lot of pain in being a Falcons fan. The Bears are one of the teams I could argue they might have it worse, and they have a Super Bowl. And when the best quarterback in the past 50 years is Jay Cutler, you have a problem.
That's so funny that you just said that. We were talking about Jay Cutler the other day, me and my friend, and I was like, yeah, he was on, because we were watching the Colorado Rockies game against the Giants, and it looked like he was behind the thing. I was, yeah, well, he played for Denver most of his career. We looked it up. Chicago let him be their starting quarterback way too long.
Here's the thing, too, is that Jay Cutler wasn't bad. Like, he was erratic. He wasn't terrible, though.
The poor man's Brett Favre.
I'm taking him over Justin Fields. I'm sorry.
I would.
But
yeah.
Jay Cutler led that team to an NFC title game.
Yeah.
That they lost to Green Bay. But he's gotten farther than anybody else. You want to know who the other starting quarterback was for the Bears in the other Super Bowl appearance they made? It was Rex Grossman. What are we doing out here? It was Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton was the backup. How are you that bad? Bro, like, oh my God. Listen to the top 5. According to Football Reference, the top 5 greatest Bears quarterbacks of all time. Jay Cutler, number 1.
I can't believe it.
Sid Luckman, who last played in 1950, is number 2. Jim Harbaugh is number 3. Jim McMahon, the Super Bowl winner, is number 4, and he played there for 6 years. And Mitch Trubisky,
no way,
is number 5 on the list as terms of passing yards go.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. At Better Network and all your favorite social media platforms. If you wanted fantasy points tonight, and you were hoping for fantasy points, and you didn't have Austin Eckler, my goodness, this game is not for you. It's currently 17-6. The fourth quarter just started. Herbert only has 113-yard passes, no touchdowns. Zach Wilson has outgunned Herbert at 161, no touchdowns. Austin Eckler, 9 for 35. Breece Hall, 16 for 50. Keenan Allen at least saved your day in PPR with 7 for 54. Ugh, Quentin Johnson, not the answer there. Garrett Wilson, 5 for 59, and that is about it. Hey, I love this right here. I'm going to give some love there to our boy here. Mitch is number 5. Yeah, it surprised me. You saw from the clip.
It's not good. It's not good. Just don't look into it.
It's not good at all. The Bears slander will always happen here on Monday Night Rants. So 17-6. The Chargers do have the ball. They are at midfield. We'll keep you updated with that as we go forward. The Chargers aren't blowing the second half yet. This is crazy. I've never seen this before. So we'll see what happens when else.
Thoughts and prayers to Fireman Ed trying to fire up the crowd.
Fireman Ed. Is he there? I'm sure he's there.
No, he's. I saw him there. He may have left already. Who knows? But yeah.
Not the exciting game we were hoping for. And this would be, I think, would be week 9. So on Monday night games, if this stays, which I think it's going to hit the under again, will be 8-1 in unders hitting on Monday Night Football this year. The under is a real deal, my friends. It's a trend. It's a trend for the unders this year, and it's going to keep.
Yeah, you know what? Real quick, since you mentioned NFL and unders, can we talk real quick for 1 second about how bad the Week 10 slate is?
Oh, it's not good.
It's so bad. Panthers, Bears, Thursday Night Football.
No, thank you. I'll be in Vegas and not watching.
Then these are the matchups we have. Falcons, Cardinals, awful.
Well,
Colts, Patriots.
You need it, though. Heavy T is.
We need it. Colts, Patriots in Germany, awful.
No one's getting.
Texans, Bengals
no one's getting
will actually be good. That'll be a good one. Texans, Bengals will be good.
Yeah.
Packers, Steelers.
What a
nope.
Catch,
Nope. Titans, Bucks. Nope. Browns, Ravens. It looks interesting. It's probably going to be ugly.
13-10 Ravens, like one of those type of games.
Yeah, it's going to be an ugly one. 49ers, Jaguars is actually really intriguing. That's a good one.
Ooh, 49ers need it, and the Jaguars are the hottest team in the NFL, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah, but then the rest of the slate, Saints, Vikings, nope. Although shout out to the Vikings for doing really well when we thought they were going to be at the cellar. Shout out to them. Lions, Chargers could be interesting, but it's Brandon Staley, so probably not.
Ooh, that's going to be a fun offensive game. That'll be the offensive game of the week. Well,
Giants, Cowboys, disgusting.
Ugh.
Commanders, Seahawks. The Commanders are kind of there, but they're not there yet.
That game's going to be gross.
Jets, Raiders, which actually, so Jets, Raiders on Sunday Night Football actually became more interesting.
Sunday Night Football game.
That's a Sunday Night Football game, but it actually
Can
became
they flex
more interesting
earlier? Like, why can't they flex that?
I don't know.
Okay, go. Sorry.
But it became more interesting now that McDaniels has been fired.
Yeah.
And then next Monday night, a game that I will probably gladly skip because I do not care about this.
Well, you'll be here watching with me, so.
Bills, Broncos. Just absolutely disgusting football.
Yeah. Well, good thing. Hey, you know what we can do next week since it's Bills, Broncos? Bring back your game show, my friend.
You know what? We haven't done that in a minute. We haven't
Bring
done
back
that.
your game show. Let's get some contestants in here and let's have some fun next Monday night because
I'll put out some calls. My people will call your people. We'll figure this out.
Okay.
Also, real quick before we get into what say ye heavy tea, I have to give a shout out to this one tweet I saw on Twitter, and the quote tweets are insane.
All right.
So
bring it on,
people. If you don't do it yet, TikTok is great for sports stuff. It's really fun to watch.
Actually really good.
But this tweet is gold. TikTok is great because you could just be scrolling and then get shown Ben Wallace with MF Doom highlights.
What?
If you go through the quote tweets on this thing, absolutely hilarious. Dude,
by the way, rest in peace, MF Doom.
Rest in peace, MF Doom. Yes, of course. I'm not even gonna lie. I just retweeted that with a video that my buddy sent me from TikTok. It is Lamar Odom highlights with Coco playing in the background, which is one of the most insane things I think I've ever seen on TikTok. This is a golden thread. If you go through this thread and look at the quote tweets and look at the comments, absolutely hilarious.
It's random. I'll give you that. That's a mashup I never thought I'd see in my life. That's for sure.
Basketball season is back, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh man.
All right. What say ye, Heavy T? I was texting you a little bit yesterday, and you were in Cincinnati getting ready for the game. I think you were there for your brother's wedding.
Cousin's wedding. Cousin's wedding. Yeah. So wedding was really cool. So this is kind of funny. So I flew into Cincinnati, their airport, which I found out that airport is actually not even in Ohio. It is technically in the very tip northern of Kentucky, the northern tip. So flew into Ohio/Kentucky, stayed with my cousin who lives about 40 minutes from said airport in Indiana.
Oh, geez.
Because the Ohio River is right there and splits Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky from each other. And I mean, literally, you cross the water, you're in another state. So, like, the second you cross the bridge, you're in Kentucky. You're
not in California anymore, my friend.
Yeah, no, really, right? So, I was literally in 3 states for the entire weekend, and it was so much fun.
Oh, I'd imagine.
Like, I mean, it's great seeing family, but, you know, I think I love random trips to, like, just the middle of the country because you can find incredible things to do. Bought my first pair of cowboy boots ever. It was amazing. Glorious experience. I have them on my bed over there. Actually, hold on.
Whoa. Time out. I know we're getting off of sports, guys.
Look at these babies. What? These things are beautiful.
Why was buying cowboy boots, your first pair of cowboy boots, like the best experience ever? I gotta know. Like,
because they're amazing.
We have boot bars. We have boot bars in California. You can just go do it whatever you want.
You know what? I've never seen a boot barn in LA. Never seen that.
Okay. Well, we have them here in Fresno, obviously, but yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, it's Fresno, so there you go. But yeah, so the wedding was fun. So come to Sunday, and my goal was I got a hotel by the airport, stayed there, went into Cincinnati for the day for the early slate of games, got really, really drunk. I stayed there for the afternoon slate.
Fair.
Continued to drink more, and then walk about 2 blocks over to Paycor Stadium for Bengals-Bills Sunday Night Football.
Oh, Jesus.
The game was a blast. I did not get these guys' names, but shout out to these guys who were staying in my hotel.
No.
So I got in the elevator, and all these guys are wearing Bills jerseys. And I asked them just casually, like, "Oh, you going to the game tonight?" And they said, "Yeah." And apparently they've all been in the same fantasy football league 20 plus years. They do a football trip every year with the guys in their league, or at least with some of them. And this year they started off in Pittsburgh. So they went to Thursday night Steelers-Titans. They drove to Canton, toured the Hall of Fame, and then they came over to Cincinnati for Bengals-Bills. So talked to them at the hotel, end up running back into them at the bar, which was even better. So we ended up talking a little bit more. I ended up buying a whole bucket of beer. Low key, my bar tab was $200. So it's just like, because I guess at some point, number one, you get all these drinks for yourself. But number two, you're talking with everybody, you're having a good time. You're just kind of buying drinks for other people. I ended up buying drinks for them. met this father-son who had came from Raleigh, North Carolina for the game. They were really cool. Met two people who work over at Cincinnati Children's Hospital who were there for the game. Like it was a lot of fun. But your boy, by the time it came to Sunday Night Football, your boy was feeling toasty because he was about 12 vodka Red Bulls in when he walked into that stadium. So
Woo!
yeah, but
You were toasty and your heart was pumping, baby.
dude, my heart was pumping. I'm sweating liquor, but it was a lot of fun. I got to give one more shout out to my homie Randy for giving me the advice to when it comes to buying my ticket for the game, just grip it and rip it because hey, it's my money. I'm going to do what I want. So I paid a little good chunk of change to get a really nice view for the game, and it was
the view. You sent me the text. It looked really good.
Yeah, really good. I was on 15 rows up from the field, first level. Really nice. And you know what? Paycor, where the Bengals play, it actually looked kind of small. Like compared to SoFi, it's pretty small. Yeah. So like on the side where you have the sidelines, it's 3 levels, which is normal. And then on one end zone, it's just 1 level. And on the other end zone, it's 2 levels. And I was like, okay, this is kind of a little smaller stadium than I'm used to. But the crowd, hey, when the Bengals are good, the crowd is really into it, and they let you know. That's actually a really cool fan base. So yeah, Cincinnati, really lit, a lot of fun. Get me drunk and I'll buy you drinks, apparently. And yeah,
I'll remember that next time I'm in LA.
Yeah, there you go. shout out to the Canadian homies for coming down. The Canadian homies never got their names, but I'll remember that forever.
Love it, man. It's good. Like I've always thought, like Cincinnati Bengals fans. Like we talked earlier this year on the show about like with the best fan bases. Really, Cincinnati. Like there's nothing. They've been probably a really good fan base of just like good people too. So
yeah, just kind of keeps to themselves. Like they're there, but you don't. I guess they're kind of forgotten about. Also, real quick, while I'm on that, also one more shout out to the city of Cincinnati itself. The way they designed the stadiums, so you have Paycor, and then you have 2 blocks full of like restaurants, bars, and then you have
American Launchpad.
Yeah, and then you have Great American Ballpark,
Launchpad,
where the Reds play. And I'm not even joking. The bar that I was at, which was I think it was like the Golden Tavern or something. I don't know. It was really cool. Literally walk across the street, walk an extra 50 feet, and you're at the home plate gate for the Reds.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it was a great area, nice vibe. They got a pretty good downtown life. So I gotta give them major props. Uber's a little expensive when you have to cross state line, but it's
the wedding was good. The wedding was fun.
The wedding was great. All in all, great trip. Great trip. I had a lot of fun.
Hopefully I have fun, but not as I mean, Garrett went on vacation to the Bahamas, lost Guillotine. You went on vacation to Cincinnati, you lost Guillotine. I'm going to Vegas weekend. I'm worried, my friend. I am worried that I'm going to lose Guillotine this week.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, there's a trend here happening, and it's not the Debo Samuel trend. This is worse. So I have to ask you though, watching that Atlanta game, I mean, come on, rough. But I want to know what say ye on Heavy T, not on that game, because I don't want you to cuss at everybody here watching right now. Mile High Luke, I like him. I want him to stick around for a few more weeks. I don't watch it. And Sports Nuts Nick and everyone else in the chat. Arthur Smith came out today. He shaved his mustache after a sleepless night, so was said on reports this morning. Thoughts on that? What does that mean? What's going on here? What's going on with your Falcons?
It means, you know what it means? So this is the same thing that Joe Madden did for the Angels a couple years ago, where they were like on a 15-game losing streak. And he cut his hair and put it into a mohawk to try and change the vibes.
I do remember that. That is,
and they
funny.
called him into the office after he got the mohawk, before he even met with the team. Called him in the office and like, yeah, you're fired. This has the same vibes written all over it. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. At least the people on Twitter, I won't speak for the people in the city because I don't know what's going on in Sports Talk Radio down there. But at least the people on Twitter, they are done with him. And I actually agree.
It's been a minute now.
I don't understand why you drafted Bijan number 8. I saw a stat earlier that I couldn't believe. And at the same time, I actually believed it. That stat was, we are going into week 10 of the season. Bijan, who was the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, has 1 carry inside the 5-yard line all season. 1 carry. Absolute joke. It's a travesty. And I know you saw this play last week when they were playing Tennessee. You have Bijan, again, the number 8 overall draft pick. You can run him into the end zone. But no, let's use our number 1 tight end, Kyle Pitts, to block while we pitch it to our number 2 tight end, and he throws a goal line pass to our number 3 tight end.
That play was terrible.
That falls incomplete. What the hell is going on?
That was a terrible play call. That was rough. I'm not gonna lie.
Just
we do have a fantasy question real quick. Do you guys see JT? I'm assuming that's Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones' success continuing. Also, the DJ Moore could regain wide receiver 10 status once Fields is back. I'm going to say JT's in a little bit of trouble because I think the split carries is going to be real. He's going to get a little bit more going forward, probably like a 60-40 split, but Moss has been really good, and there's no reason not to use him when he's been that good. I'm a little worried about him. Aaron Jones is healthy again, and you saw this week. Remember, week 1, he was one of the best running backs in fantasy football. Then he got hurt, and he was coming back, and then he got the bye, and he was hurt again. He looked healthy yesterday, and I think Aaron Jones is going to be a great contributor to your team going forward. Jonathan Taylor, I'm a little worried about. That's a pass-first team with a terrible defense. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Minshew is going to be throwing the ball a lot. And I'm a little worried about Moss there, so I'm a little high on him. DJ Moore, I think even with Badgett, he's still been serviceable. Even though he had a bad week yesterday, with Badgett, he's had over 10 fantasy points besides last week going forward. So I think with Fields back, you're going to see a lot more of him. But I think DJ Moore is going to be just fine. Wide receiver 10, it's going to be tough. There's a lot of good wide receivers this year, but I would say that I think you should be safe with him. I'm a little worried about Jonathan Taylor, though.
Yeah, my thing with Jonathan Taylor, at least for this upcoming week, I've very quickly learned those.
Jesus, no changes. Your team is fine. Yeah. Holy crap!
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Who let you draft?
Dude,
my goodness, like.
Yeah,
I mean, like, and I mean that in a.
He's had some injury issues with Aaron Jones and JT not starting the season, but
I mean, at the same time, dude, your league must be filled with 8-year-olds. Like, that is insane.
Yeah,
that is an insane lineup.
That's
for a 20-team PPR.
That's insane. Yeah, you should be fine with it, Josh.
Yeah, no, you should be good. But as far as this weekend, I don't trust JT basically because I don't trust any of the European games. Those are awful.
Yeah,
like the offenses for both sides are not good for any of those NFL Europe games. So I personally wouldn't trust it. If you have to pick between one, I'm starting Aaron Jones, and you traded for all except JT. That is hella impressive.
Yeah, well done.
In a 20-team PPR, that is.
I'm not letting Josh come into our guillotine league next year. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm in.
Josh is more than welcome, but that's insane. Like, I want to know what he gave up for all that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I mean,
yeah,
you could have gotten. I mean, trading for Tyreek Hill, you'd had to give up an arms and a leg. You could have gotten value for Aaron Jones because of the injury. Christian Kirk, obviously, because of Calvin Ridley. You could have gotten value there. Yeah. DJ Moore, you had value at the beginning of the season, too, because nobody knew, right, what he would do. Yeah. So I like it, man. I love it, Josh. Congratulations.
I'm curious what he gave up for Lamar, because Lamar can be up, Lamar can be down. That one's curious.
Quarterback trades are, though, pretty much straightforward what they're looking for. Someone has a combo they want, like they have CeeDee Lamb, they want Dak or something like that. You can get some value there, too.
Yeah.
Or somebody may have, he has Tyreek Hill, so that's out of the question. I was like, maybe someone had, Tyreek and wanted Tua or something like that. Like, because you see a lot of that. Or maybe someone had St. Brown and he had Goff and traded Goff for Lamar. That at the beginning of the season, that would have been a straightforward trade. That would have been fair. So
yeah, completely agree. I will say this: I don't know if trading is done in your league yet, but if there's one other receiver you would like to add, I recommend either a Nico Collins or a Tank Dell.
Nico Collins all day, every day.
Those dudes are good.
They're good.
Gave up Breece Hall, Amon-Ra, Madison Parker, and Chark for Everett, Tyreek Jones, and Kirk in week 4.
Yeah, you won.
I'm actually okay with that.
No,
Breece Hall was a lot to give up. So is Amon-Ra. Not big on Madison. I know that's DJ Chark. Not big on
He
him.
traded James Conner and Russ for Lamar. That's stupid.
I'd do that easily. Yeah, I'm doing that all day, every day.
I like how we're just sitting here talking to Josh about let him now.
Yeah, no.
Good, bro.
I'm assuming that Parker, because you said he traded Breece Hall,
Devontae
Madison.
Parker.
That's what I'm thinking is Devontae Parker. And if that's the return you got for those dudes, that's pretty damn good.
That's hell good.
Like, yeah, I'd take that. It would be tough for me to give up Breece Hall, but no, I like that. I really do.
Yeah,
so,
Breece Hall and the Amon-Ra is probably the biggest ones. But to get Aaron Jones and Tyreek is the best non-quarterback in fantasy right now. So you definitely got.
Well, like we said, if it comes down to it, start Aaron Jones. Don't start Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah. Speaking of not winning fantasy, my friend, it is time for me to give you a eulogy. Ladies and gentlemen, last week while on vacation, Heavy T was knocked out of our Guillotine League, our Monday Night Rants Guillotine League. I hate to see him go. I love it. He did get mad at me for using the same meme he used against Garrett. I'm not going to do it here tonight, but I did write him a little eulogy here because we told each other if he gets knocked out, I get to write his, and then he obviously does probably a much better job than I do towards everyone's. But we say goodbye to Heavy T's league or team in the Guillotine League this week, or last week, as he moves on and hope for next year. So, ready? We are gathered here today to say goodbye to a team that, although heavy in talent, was light in points.
Oh.
Including AJ, I can't believe I spent more fab on Mark Andrews than somebody got for Brown. That hurts me. That's a eulogy to me. Chris, all you could eat at Olave Garden had more value at Olive Garden than he did for you last week. The all you can eat.
It's pretty good. That's a good one. I'll give you that.
Darren Waller, now on the IR, will do the same for you on the IR than he did last week. Sorry. You're much better at this than me. Devon Heavy T thought he was so smart, but now he will be on someone else's team when he comes back, Ajad, who he didn't get to play when he lost last week. King just played him a week too early, Henry. Ditto to Gus Edwards, who both had monster weeks this week. And also to poor Heavy T. You know you're not in a dynasty league, right? Shout out to Jackson Smith Najigba, Jaden Reed, and Zay Algeron Flowers. But let's not forget Lamar Jackson, who out of all the fantasy points he put up this year, while Heavy T was on vacation, so was Lamar Jackson that week. There you go. How'd I do? I do good? Not bad, right?
Prayers. Big up to my team in the sky. Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts
pretty good. I'll give you that one. It's pretty good.
All right. There you go. You're much better, obviously, than me, but, give you love where you can. Your team is really good, man. And it was a crazy waiver wire after that. And I got none of them. So I'm still in it, but we'll see.
I'm curious because I haven't looked at it since. How much did AJ Brown go for Fab?
Less than I paid for Mark Andrews. It was like $320 or something like that. It was
really,
yeah, because everyone's out of Fab. Everyone's out of Fab.
That's true. That's true. Yeah,
we're learning lessons for sure.
Yeah, for reals.
But
also, the Jets may have just taken a touchdown back, and this game's pretty much over.
Not the Jets.
Sorry. Chargers pretty much took touchdown back.
If you have the Chargers defense as your captain in DFS Showdown tonight, you have won. Congratulations, you are a millionaire. The one person that did it. Real quick, I do have Case of the Mondays. Run out of time. Okay, just run through it real quick and we'll call it a night.
You got it, man. Do it.
All right, here we go. Real quick, Case of the Mondays. We'll call it a night. No, we're a little late. Had to do the eulogy for Heavy T. It was good to have him back. A lot of fun. But this is another lot of fun segment we do here. And it's called...
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got
Case
a case
of the
Mondays.
If you don't like Office Space, shame on you. The Seahawks. It's not just that they were embarrassed by the Ravens. It's that they really finally had a chance to make noise in the NFC. The 49ers have been terrible. They lost 3 in a row. Here are the Seahawks. Big acquisitions in the trade deadline. Solidify their defense. Just terrible. They have literally problems under center. Geno Smith ain't hit. He has thrown at least 1 interception in 4 straight games. And he has 13 interceptions in his last 15 games. Comeback player of the year? Not this year. Seattle Seahawks, you have.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Woo! After a week of the number 1 versus number 2 quarterbacks battled, the Carolina Panthers beat the Houston Texans. But oh my goodness, was that loss to Indianapolis Colts really bad. 3 interceptions for Bryce Young. 3 interceptions and his 3rd multi-interception game of the season. Frank Reich, Carolina Panthers, you made the decision to draft Bryce Young number 1 overall. Well, guess what? The quarterback you could have drafted put up a historic performance, a rookie performance for the ages, and the best performance by a rookie, pass yards wide, in the history of the NFL. That was CJ Stroud. You didn't draft CJ Stroud. You got Bryce Young. Guess what?
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's
This
got a
one will be
case of the
short.
Mondays.
The Raiders. Just kidding. It's the Giants. The Raiders dropped their coach. There's a whole bunch of turmoil there. Players on TMZ, all this stuff going on with McDaniels. It's bad. But here we go again. The Giants were on top of the world last year. Losing to the Raiders after losing their coach after even Devontae Adams didn't do much. Aiden O'Connell. The Giants lost Daniel Jones for the year. They're going to have to eat that cost and get a quarterback in the draft. The season's over. Giants.
Uh-oh. Sounds like
Last
somebody's
but not
got
least,
a case of the Mondays.
The Buffalo Bills have finished first in the AFC East in the last 3 seasons. They just cannot put a series of games together to prove that they're the best team in the AFC. The Bengals made them look stupid. The Bills look slower than they have in the last 4 years. Josh Allen can only throw the ball deep to save his life and hopes a receiver down there, and they don't have a number 2 receiver. Khalil Shakir is good, but not a number 2 receiver. Gabe Davis disappears. Their running game is 0. The defense is old. They're hurt. The Bills aren't who we thought they were.
But they are who we thought they were. And we let them
And also the Bills today.
Uh-oh. Sounds like somebody's got a case
All
of
right,
the
everyone.
Mondays.
I know we went a little late, but we closed a little early last week. This has been Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network at Better Network and all your favorite social media platforms at Fantasy Alarm. Shout out to Howard Bender for getting me on BenderCast and the BetterCast app. That's every game, man. Every night of the week, there is a BetterCast game. Get on it. BetterCast.app. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to be on there watching the rest of this and answering some questions before it ends tonight as well. Shout out to my producer, Tyler Heavy T Soto. Welcome back from Cincinnati. I'll be on vacation this weekend, but I will be back next Monday with probably more stories to tell. So will Heavy T. Shout out to Thomas Stevens for coming here tonight and doing a great, and I mean a great, Rants on the Street. We love you guys. Thank you so much for getting there in the chat, giving us love, liking, subscribing, watching all of our videos and everything we do here at the Better Sports Network and at Fantasy Alarm. And we'll see you next week, man. Same time. It's 9 o'clock Eastern every Monday night. We follow the Monday Night Football game. We have a lot of fun. We're doing a game show next Monday night because the game's going to suck. So from myself, from Tyler Heavy T Soto, from Thomas Stevens, the Better Sports Network Fantasy Alarm, shout out to Taj McGowan. We'll see you next week, my fellow ranters. Boom.